Welcome to the Invested Dads Podcast, simplifying financial topics so that you can take action and make your financial situation better. Helping you to understand the current world of financial planning and investments, here are your hosts, Josh Robb and Austin Wilson.
All right. Hey. Welcome back to the Invested Dads Podcast, a podcast where we take you on a journey to better your financial future. I am Austin Wilson, co-portfolio manager at Hixon Zuercher Capital Management.
And I'm Josh Robb, director of wealth management at Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. Austin, how can people help us with our podcast?
We would love it if you'd subscribe. If you're not subscribed, so you get new episodes when they come out on Thursdays. And if you would not mind leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that would help us to be found, so that more people can find us and listen to us, and hopefully we can help more people. So today, Josh, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Have yourself a financially wise Christmas. May your checkbook be bright. From now on, your gifts will be out of sight. Do you hear those sleigh bells ringling, jingling too?
I tell you what, just from the store standpoint,
It's already getting
Christmas shows up fast.
so early.
It's like 4th of July and Christmas.
It's absolutely right. Yeah, like you get like 1 week of pumpkin spice.
Yep.
And then it's junk that fills your house for Christmas.
And it's like an overlap. It's like it's going to be like peppermint pumpkin spice going forward, which is just a weird combo. But
you know, eventually, I think they're probably just gonna. You have everything out all year round, and you can just
choose an aisle.
Choose an aisle. Imagine the sales you'd get.
No, I don't know.
Get your Christmas stuff in June.
Well, that's the nice thing, though. I like to buy when the season ends that are on sale.
Yeah, I know. That's true.
Especially Christmas lights. If I'm a
Get
better
those things
forward
in
planner
January.
than I really am, is I should just stock up on some of those things.
Mm-hmm. So today, we are going to be talking about 10 ways, 10
Good number.
round,
Yep.
even, lovely number, to have yourself a financially wise Christmas, because Christmas can be a stressful thing, financially speaking.
That's right.
A lot of people don't plan for it. A lot of people don't put a lot of thought into it until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
And we would like to prevent people from doing that. So we've got 10 tips, 10 ideas, 10 thoughts of ours, and then our own opinions, of course.
Yes.
And that's going to hopefully help you out. So without further ado.
I do.
It's French, A-D-I-E-U.
Is that how you
Without
spell it?
further ado,
I do.
we're going to start. So number one, and you're going to love this, Josh.
I'm ready.
Create a Christmas
Oh,
budget.
man. And if you use Excel, you can color code it red and green.
Oh, my.
Go ahead, Austin.
If you go
Ask me if my Christmas Excel budget is color coded
Josh,
red
is
and
your Christmas Excel budget color-coded?
Yes, it is.
Is it conditionally formatted color-coded?
Yes, it is.
Oh, man.
But the title is red and green always.
Okay.
Because Christmas.
Of course.
And then, yes, everything else flows in. Nice.
I say that is excellent.
Yes. Excellent.
So, yeah, it's number one, create a Christmas budget, because if you don't plan on how much to spend for Christmas, there's a number of different categories this is going to cover. But
Yes.
this is for the season in general. But if you don't have an idea of what that's going to be, you can just be winging it and spend way too much.
Yeah.
And that's not good.
No.
So, yeah, go into the season determining how much you can afford to spend on Christmas and try and do it so that it doesn't wreck your financial world.
Yes.
Here's some things to think about. It's not just gifts,
Not gifts.
because we live in a global world, or we live in a world where families all over at least the country, maybe, might be some travel expenses. So think about that in advance. Maybe you're throwing some parties. Those can be expensive, especially if you bring out the good booze.
Yeah.
Please do. And when you have
Or
that
making
work.
cinnamon rolls.
Okay, yeah. Josh's wife, best cinnamon rolls
Oh, yeah.
ever. Man, they are good.
They are good.
I don't even know if they make it home every year, because
Oh, so good.
I may eat them when I get them. So, yes, Pioneer Woman recipe.
You got a budget for that.
Got a budget for that. So, yes, yeah, maybe you're going to be giving gifts, making cookies, going on a trip, having people over for a party. Try and incorporate all of those categories into
Maybe
your overall. Or
if you-
decorations. That's
I was going to say, if you hate untangling your lights every year, maybe you budget for just buying new lights,
lights
because they're just,
every year.
no matter how you wrap them, they are tangled the next year.
Pro tip: just get a pre-lit tree.
Well, I'm talking about in general. Like
Oh.
we do some lights outside.
Outside.
You know, I use extension cord wraps for my lights, and it helps keep them a little bit less tangled at the end.
So go in with all your categories and all your spending for the season in mind, and then have an idea of how much that's going to be. Because then you at least have an idea of what to plan and budget for, which we're going to talk about in a couple of
Yes.
numbers, but that's number one.
But I'll tell you too,
Create the budget.
when you have a budget, it makes it easier to spend that money
You have
because you
license
know
to.
you've already accounted for it. So it makes Christmas, at least in my mind, Christmas buying a lot more fun.
It's guilt-free. Yep. All right, number 2, make a gift or shopping list.
Yes.
So if you're going to be buying people gifts, and this is something that some more thoughts on in a little bit,
Yep.
but think about who you're buying gifts for.
Yep.
Write their names down or make an Excel sheet. My wife and I share an Apple Note.
Oh, yeah, that works.
And so we have her family and my family and who we're buying gifts for. And then we put a budget next to them.
Yes.
Maybe it's $50, maybe it's $100,
Yep.
whatever that is. And then we put next to that what we are buying them. And it's a checkable list. So
Oh, nice.
when you get it done, you check it off and you don't have to think about it. So we do that. Then you, so because you back into how much per person or dollars per person you have.
Yep.
And it's easy to figure out if you did your Christmas budget in step 1.
Yep.
But this is a way that you can make sure everyone who you want to get a gift for has one, and you keep track of them when they're done, and it's a great way to keep organized.
And I'll say too, it's helpful, especially if you start shopping early, that 2 months from now, you're like, how many presents do I have for this person? Because again, we have 4 kids at home. You want to
One
say
present
it's got to
each,
be
that's
even.
it.
Well, it's got to be even because kids don't care about how much it costs. They care how many gifts are under the tree. So sometimes you got to like
$100
combine some gifts
gifts
together or whatever. And so that's something to keep in mind. Those sheets, those lists are nice. Steph, again, my wife does an awesome job.
Yeah.
She puts links in. So like
great idea.
if Sawyer, my daughter, loves Legos, if she has this Lego set in particular, hey, here's a link to it. So you know exactly what it is. Or like, here's a link to the shoes that they want, style, size, and all that.
Links are great
Oh, nice.
when you're shopping yourself, but they're also great when you send them to.
Oh, that's my point. It goes out to
grandparents,
everybody.
aunts and uncles.
It goes out to everybody
It's,
because
it's like a registry.
if you tell them I want this, there's no guarantee they know exactly what that is, especially
And-
technology.
One thing that I hope people can have that conversation with, maybe it's you and your kids, and then you have that conversation with your parents, is we really don't want to just fill our house with junk.
Yep.
We want to get the kids what they'll use and what they want
Or they need
or they need,
Yep.
not just stuff to have stuff.
stuff.
And because when you bring a bunch of stuff in, you got to get rid of a bunch of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of a pain. So that is one thought. Another thought is when you're looking at those gift lists for people, consider like alternatives, some different ways you could gift. And maybe that's a homemade gift.
Yep.
Maybe this is one of my favorites, especially when you're looking for older people. Maybe it's your parents or your siblings or whatever, but these are not kids.
Experienced people.
Experienced people, buy them experiences.
Yes.
So what I like to do, what doesn't take up space in your house?
Hugs.
Oh, Josh never does.
No.
I've gotten
It's
one
an
hug
expensive
from
gift.
Josh, I think.
Expensive gift.
It's an expensive gift. No, I was thinking experiences.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And it's a memory you're going to have forever. Take some pictures. It's a cool thing, but take your father-in-law to a football game.
Yep. I was going to say, we did that actually
doesn't take up
about a
any
year ago
space.
or so. That was the Christmas gift was some tickets
Yep.
to a game he wanted to go to.
That's
hockey
what
game.
that's what we're doing for our dads for their birthdays. They're kind of around the same time. I'm taking them, both of them, to a concert.
There you go.
They don't take up space, and we're going to have a great time.
Yep.
So consider, homemade gifts, experiences. You can save money, but you can also save space by doing sort of this. And then another just note is when you have that list, stick to it. Don't go rogue.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity to not be impulse buying
Oh,
when you're
yeah.
at the store. And I don't like to go to a store. I buy everything online, so I can't really impulse buy.
I guess if you're scrolling through Amazon, maybe you find something cool on like the suggestion
eBay.
page.
That's my
eBay,
impulse
that's where,
buyer. I
yeah,
guess.
eBay.
Get all my clothes on eBay.
There you go.
So that's number 2. Number 3, guess what? Christmas comes every year roughly on December 25th.
Oh, it seems about the same.
Ish.
Yeah, kind of pops up there.
Well, it depends on leap year, of course. But no, every year you're going to have a Christmas.
Yep.
So you know what you can do? You can start saving well in advance of Christmas. And guess what? You could even start like January.
You can start December 26th.
And maybe you just look at your total Christmas spending from step 1, total budget that included all your categories, and just divide that by 12 and put that money into a savings account or whatever one time a month. That'd be a great way to do it. And then at the end, then when you're shopping, guilt-free, you can shop all year long. It's great. So that's one way to do that. And you can actually set up a separate savings account. You could even do cash, but I prefer a savings account for this and have it recurring transfers.
Automatically.
It's automatic. It's already taken care of. So that's a nice way to do that. I would personally set up a higher yielding savings account in this day and age. You can probably,
if you're waiting 12 months, get some money on it.
4.5%,
Yep.
which is great. And you'll be able to get some nice interest on that as well. And that's what I would do. So start saving early. Christmas comes every year at the same time. So don't wait till Christmas to be
That's right.
paying
Don't
for
be shocked
Christmas.
by it.
Yeah.
Or don't wait on a credit card to be paying for Christmas after it happened.
That
That's
can
no
be a
fun.
very expensive bill. Number 4, shop strategically.
Yes.
This is where
Like while the
planning-
store's open,
while
don't go when
stores
they're
are open.
closed.
Yeah. This
Gotta
is where
plan.
planning ahead really comes into its own, because if you like to shop, start shopping in January. You can get some heck of a sale on stuff. Or as you get Amazon Prime days, or you get this or those sales days, you can buy things when they're on sale, not just when everyone else is doing it.
Yep.
From really October, late November through December is when everyone's doing it, and that's
Yep.
when prices are the highest. So probably plan ahead, shop strategically, especially shopping online. You can even compare. Don't just go to one place and buy everything. Maybe that's Amazon. I have a habit of this. I love Amazon, but shop around.
Yeah.
You can actually use Google to put in what you want to buy, and it'll show you where it's for sale and for how much.
Yep.
So shop around, do those things. What I like to do, and this kind of, we're going to touch on this a little bit later too, but if you're buying on Amazon, always go down and see if you can buy used.
Ooh, yeah.
People have a problem with used gifts. We're going to get to that. But you can often save like 30, 40%, and it's probably in its package new.
Probably. They just
And
had bought it. And
You
then,
can still return it.
yeah.
So that's what I would do. Number 5, one of my personal favorites. Set spending limits with loved ones.
Yes.
Because, everyone's in a different situation. You want to take that into consideration financially with what's going on in people's lives. You want to make sure that, Josh, I don't buy you a Rolex,
Yep.
and then you get me a pack of gummy bears.
Yep.
That seems
You
like
really like gummy bears.
that seems like it would be really awkward.
Yes.
It's a very extreme example.
Yes.
Like a $10,000 difference in prices.
Right.
But you don't want to have that. It could be a little awkward
Set
at a family
expectations.
Christmas.
Yep.
When someone buys something extravagant and someone buys something that's a gag gift or funny.
Yep.
And they're just awkward, right?
Yes, for sure.
So say in advance with family, hey, let's keep it at $50 or whatever. And then everyone's kind of looking at the same sort of thing. So that's a cool way to do that. Hopefully everyone stays within their budget. That's a thought as well. But better yet, and this is my personal preference, talk in advance about not buying gifts for people. You don't need to buy gifts for everyone. And then if you say, hey, talk to your siblings, you guys are family, you're close, hopefully. Maybe we won't do sibling gifts this year. We can just do our parents and the kids, and we'll be able to do more and more fun stuff for them. But we don't need stuff. We're established adults who make money. Maybe that's one way to do this. Or do some sort of game to buy gifts for one person, like a Secret Santa, and you draw a name or something like that. Then you don't need to feel obligated to buy gifts for everyone. The nice thing is other people won't feel obligated to get gifts for you.
Yep.
So everyone kind of wins. And that's the way our family does it, is with our siblings and stuff, we're like, listen, we have kids. We can get the kids stuff. That's fine. We love doing that. That's really fun to watch kids open stuff. But I don't need to get you this, and you don't need to get me anything. It's freeing, I think.
That's what we did. I'm one of 5 kids on my side of the family, and we're all married. So there's 10
Just
in this group of adults,
siblings
not
and-
counting all the grandkids that my parents have.
In-laws.
Yes. So between my siblings and in-laws, there's 10 of us adults, and we used to draw a name and buy. And then we thought, what's even better? We all like playing games. And when we get together, we play games. Let's do a board game. Each family buys one board game, 5 games. And sometimes my parents participate 6 games. But the idea is then they're all wrapped and you do a little game to see, you picked a random one and open it, and then you can exchange or trade or all that fun stuff. But then you use it right there with your family.
Oh, yeah.
And it changed because, board games, $15-$20 at most. So
the whole thing.
Yeah. So, then it sets the limit, and it also has the expectation we're all going to get the same type of thing.
Right.
That's a nice one. We enjoy it. Okay. 5 down.
5 down.
We're
5 to
halfway
go.
there. So I got a dad joke for
Living
you.
on a prayer.
All right. Here's where we're at. What is
What is?
a tree's least favorite month of the year?
I mean, I would say fall because that sounds, but it's not,
Not a month. I need a month.
season.
That's a season. Yes.
No, I got no idea.
September.
September.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Okay, so
But it went along with fall for you.
it's like why fall is not a month, Josh.
It was close.
All right, we got 5 to go, and then we're going to talk kind of a little bit about how we do things. So number 6, I talked on it a little bit, but really lean into that thinking of maybe you could do it yourself. Maybe you could do a project for your family, do a project for your sibling, do a project for your parents. That's going to be a really cost-effective way, using your time and your skills maybe as that. Maybe more of the homemade things. Cook them a fancy dinner for a date night with their spouse, or provide childcare. Maybe you're a younger person. That's a really great thing. If you're in your teens or early 20s with no kids, you can provide childcare for someone who is gold.
Oh, that's a valuable gift.
Valuable gift. Homemade gifts often have more sentimental value than store-bought ones. So if you and your kids did a project where you made a birdhouse for Nana, Nana's probably going to cherish that dang birdhouse
love it.
more than the Rolex that you didn't get her.
Yep.
Why do I keep going back to that? I don't know. I want a Rolex.
You like the Rolex.
I want a Rolex.
You're a watch guy.
I want a Rolex.
Yep. Or it's taking a experience and reminding you of that. So for instance, maybe you got pictures at a vacation and framing that.
Yep.
You could probably make your own frame if you wanted. But in general, taking something that already was there, this picture, but then turning it into a lasting memory.
Or better yet,
or book.
You could involve the person you're getting the gift for in making the gift. So you could say, hey, we're going to make a picture frame together.
Yeah.
And that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So just thinking about that. Number 7, as we talked about, having a list of how much and who you're buying for, be sure you keep track of that.
Yes.
So when you buy a gift for someone, write down how much it costs, or keep track of it in your red and green spreadsheet.
Red and green spreadsheet.
Then I spent this money, and you can keep a running total of how much you have left. Hopefully you're close to budget. That's a good way to think about it. But keep track
I
of it.
suggest you track the gifts. You write down what you want. And then whether you've purchased it yet or not, whether it's arrived, because if you're ordering it, and then whether you've wrapped it. Because once it's wrapped, you don't know what's in there anymore. So it's a good way. That's how I track it all.
You've got
so
a lot
I
of
know
categories.
I do.
You've got a pivot table.
It's very nice. Very,
so yes,
very
monitor
concise.
your spending to make sure you're staying within your budget. You can use apps to do this. We've talked about this many times, but a simple spreadsheet or even a piece of paper, if you don't lose it, can be a very effective way to do this. Number 8, and this kind of ties into what we were talking about with planning ahead. Avoid last-minute shopping, because last-minute shopping can mean, well, maybe there's not a lot of stuff left, and the stuff that is very expensive, and you might overspend, or impulse purchase. So plan ahead and start your shopping early. Now, I'm not saying you have to start in January, but you don't have to be forced to buy it in late November, December.
So, for instance, I mentioned the Legos. A couple of my kids in general love Legos, and so we know that. So throughout the year, I love Legos. I love to play with them. I don't like to step on them.
Ooh, they hurt.
But if you know that, for instance, we know that.
Yeah.
Going through the year, if you see a sale,
boom,
you jump on it.
Christmas is done.
Yeah. So you're right. Just plan ahead doesn't mean you have to do it, but if you already know ahead of time, you may get the opportunity to save some money.
Absolutely.
Because the same thing may be more expensive down the road if you weren't ready for it.
Here's a controversial one. Number 9.
Boy.
Consider regifting. Maybe someone got you something that's unopened. You just didn't really care for it. It's unused.
Like a Rolex watch?
Oh, that'll get used.
Okay.
It's just not your thing. It's in very good shape. It's brand new.
Yes.
Maybe you know someone who would appreciate that more than you do. You can just rewrap that and give it
Send
away.
it out.
I have no problem with receiving a regift. I have no problem with giving a regift.
Okay.
There are some people in my life would feel odd about that. What is your opinion, Josh?
It's situational. There are times where, and we've done this before, again, going back to like our siblings, sometimes it was more of that type of idea of a, what you call white elephant gift, which is usually a re-gift or some,
Trying to be funny.
Well, yeah, or useful, like, just something that you have that you pass on. And in our family, it wasn't usually a funny gift, but it was literally something that is useful, but maybe somebody else would get more use out of it. So we've done that. It just depends.
Yeah.
It's got to be done in a way that there's a reason for not, I want to get rid of this, but you would appreciate this. If it's done that way, it's fine.
And I wouldn't personally make a big deal out of the fact
no.
you are regifting.
No, I wouldn't like have a big sign on it or anything.
You should probably take off the sticker that had your name on it when you give it to someone else.
Oh, there's a card in here. Don't read the card.
Yeah, unless it's your sibling, then that's totally fine.
Yeah, just let 'em know. Oh, don't give it back to the person that gave it to you, though. That is the one rule, Austin.
Keep track.
Don't do that.
Like if your parents get you a
Yes,
sweater,
don't give it
you
back.
really hate it. Don't give it to your dad.
No.
Here's another controversial take on this is maybe you find a really good deal on a like new XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem receiving or giving that as a gift.
Yeah.
Depending if it's something that's really useful and maybe severely discounted
Refurbished.
because it was
Yeah.
used. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Some people, again, may not really be a fan of that. Use your judgment.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't have a weird thing about gifts where it
Okay.
has to be like,
Yeah.
I also think that at the end of the day, when you're giving gifts, it's more the thought that counts than it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Like,
I can
that
see that.
person was thoughtful enough
Yep.
to get me something. I'm thankful for that, regardless if it was perfect or not.
Yeah. And if you have kids, there's a good chance you're going to get regifted stuff, especially when they're younger, because their concept of gifting is weird and they don't have any money to buy new stuff or the ability to go to a store.
And they just want to open the wrapping paper
Yeah.
anyway.
But I'm just saying, even like to me, like
yeah.
I've had kids find something in the room, put it in, and then give it. And it's like, oh, thank you. Can I go put this back in your room for you? But it's the thought
You
that
pulled
counts. Like
all
they
the Christmas lights out of the Christmas tree.
like they gave it to me.
Thank you.
But it's the thought that counts, right?
Yeah.
They just wanted to show like they get the concept of giving. They're limited in how they can give, so they found something that they could give because they wanted to. So
Absolutely.
I get it.
And number 10,
Yes.
last but not least, maybe you looked at what you spent last year on Christmas. You can review that and adjust up and down depending on your
Yep.
financial situation what you want to do for this year. And as you're going out throughout the year, maybe you think maybe your budget needs tweaked a little bit. You have
One
the
of your
flexi-
kids is acting up, so their budget goes down.
You
and-
have another kid.
yeah. Oh, you have another kid.
That
That's
could
probably a better
happen
idea.
too.
Yeah.
That's maybe a more equitable way. So anyway, just review and adjust periodically. Make sure you're on track. Make adjustments each year. You kind of get your understanding about that. Airfare goes up maybe year over year.
Yeah.
So make adjustments as you need. But remember that really the most important piece of the Christmas season, and obviously we have our faith impact of Christmas season, but we also have just the wonderful time to be spending with family.
Yes.
And that's more important than what
Oh,
we're
boy.
getting or
Yes.
giving. So, obviously we don't want it to be a stressful thing from a financial standpoint, but let's make some memories around Christmas here and really enjoy some time here. So, Josh, some final thoughts on Christmas, money. What's your favorite Christmas tradition? Hit me up with Christmas, man.
Well, first thought, in the recent years, one of the fun things we did was for my oldest son, he opened up for Christmas ski goggles, just simple ski goggles. But the gift was he's never skied before. We took just him, my wife and I and him, just the three of us on a one-day ski trip. Loved it. He still talks about it. And again, it was the memory. So you're right. Experiences are awesome. That's really where I'm leaning more and more towards. Like that's the lasting type of gifts. We do have a couple traditions. We do that Elf on the Shelf, which depending on the time of the year, closer to the end of Christmas, I'm tired of it. Kids love it though. Older kids help with that now, which eases the burden of all the work for it.
Did Steph finally burst the bubble for you? Like
Yeah,
last
told me
year?
about it. But the other fun thing is, this has been going on for quite a long time, but my dad dresses up like Santa, visits early to check in on the kids, bring something small with him, small little gift, like a small little something. But it's just a fun tradition. They've all figured out that it's Grandpa, not Santa, but they love the idea.
Yeah.
They always are like, "Ooh, I wonder when Santa's coming," type of thing. So it's just a fun time, and it's usually like a week or two before Christmas, just checking in, make sure they're behaving, type of thing. And those are the fun traditions. And then Christmas Eve service, we usually open up a gift that night, which are pajamas for the kids, and they wear them for Christmas morning. So
That's awesome.
good times. What about you?
Yeah, I typically save a decent amount of vacation so that I've got about a week or so to take off around Christmas, which is nice. So then I've got, some time because my family's out of town, so we need to plan some time to do Christmas with them. Christmas changes as you get older. Certain people aren't around, different traditions change, where you do Christmas XYZ changes. So we're sort of in a transitional period of our lives. Mm-hmm. And now we have another baby, so Christmas at home is going to be more important than it had been. So I'm excited about, having both girls home for Christmas and stuff like that in the morning and doing a fun little thing for them. Typically, I'm in the band on Christmas Eve. Our church does a Christmas Eve service. And it's fun to play a bunch of Christmas music and do a bunch of that. It's a long day usually. But that's kind of always been a tradition. And then we kind of hang out and do Christmas with my wife's family, and then my family would plus or minus a couple days there, and we cover everyone and have a lot of fun and just enjoy being together. I personally, I don't hate snow at all, and I'm okay with a white Christmas, but it's not a big deal to me. We don't do a real Christmas tree anymore.
Yeah.
We do a fake one, and it's pre-lit, and it's super handy.
Nice.
I did like the smell of the real tree, but
It's a lot of work.
it's a lot of work, and you have to dispose of it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, if you take it behind your shed at the end of the season and forget about it for about a year, and then in the summer or winter or right before Christmas, you're like, oh shoot, there's a Christmas tree back here. It's been dead. Those things light up real fast.
Oh, I'm sure they
You wanna
burn. I
them?
burn quick.
They are. It's pretty fun. But yeah, we like Christmas. Christmas is fun, and
Always fun. I think the older they get, the more you get to sleep in a little bit Christmas morning because they're usually pretty excited.
yeah, ours will probably be a pretty normal schedule. They're just super scheduled.
Yep.
Like 7 a.m., 6 to 7, they're rocking and rolling, and it doesn't matter if it's Christmas or Tuesday.
It's 6 to 7 is like the normal. You get I remember when some of my kids were younger, it was like a 5 a.m. They're ready to go, and it's like, hey, let's wait a little while.
5 a.m.
Dad didn't get to bed till late because he was building your stuff beforehand. So, but yeah, it is good. It's always a fun season to really just reconnect.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, and please remember, you can share these episodes with anyone who you had asking about how to plan for Christmas, and feel free to email us any ideas to hello@theinvesteddads.com. We would love to hear from you and just chat it up and connect. The stock draft is wrapping up, so hopefully you've joined by now. And until next episode, have a great week.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Invested Dads podcast. This episode has ended, but your journey towards a better financial future doesn't have to. Head over to theinvesteddads.com to access all the links and resources mentioned in today's show. If you enjoyed this episode and we had a positive impact on your life, leave us a review, click subscribe, and don't miss the next episode. Josh Robb and Austin Wilson work for Hicks & Zerker Capital Management. All opinions expressed by Josh, Austin, or any podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Hicks & Zerker Capital Management. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of Hicks & Zerker Capital Management may maintain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast. There is no guarantee that the statements, opinions, or forecasts provided herein will prove to be correct. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Indices are not available for direct investment. Any investor who attempts to mimic the performance of an index would incur fees and expenses which would reduce returns. Securities investing involves risk, including the potential for loss of principal. There is no assurance that any investment plan or strategy will be successful.